Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the launching of research platform for teachers at the Minister of National Education. For the international scene, Middle East, the EU renews its commitment to the Syrians. Welcome to our newsroom, and I will start this news by giving you a brief overview of the campaign for the presidential election that is underway in our country. Two candidates are competing, namely the candidates of UMP Ismail Omar Gele and the independent candidate Zakaria Ismail Farah. And we have Hidayah Muhammad in the other side. Hello, Hidayah.
Hello, Mohammed.
And what are the headlines of the day for the conduct of the campaign for the presidential elections between our two candidates?
Well, Mohammed, thank you once again. And this election campaign is in full swing. And for our edition of this evening, Wednesday, 31st, 2024, we will report on the meeting in Ambuli of the independent candidate. And for the UMP candidate, today he held a meeting in the Arta region. We will certainly give you more details in the course of this special edition election.
Thank you, Hidayah Mohammed. The President of the Republic meets with the heir of the throne of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, met last night with the heir to the throne of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman. It should be noted at the outset of that this exchange between the head of state and the heir to the throne of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is in line with the regular and periodic contact between the leaders of the two countries and two brotherly peoples of the Republic of Djibouti and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The talks between President Gelle and His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman served first of all as a framework for the evocations of the privileged relations of brotherhood, cooperation, friendship between the two nations. They also provided an opportunity to take stocks of the multiple partnerships that the two countries maintain in almost all areas of development and in an important order of strategic sectors. The Republic of Djibouti and the brotherly Kingdom of Saudi Arabia share age-old ties woven by the threads of histories, language, values, and culture. Their perfect convergence of views on the main issue on the agenda is the region and the rest of the world is undoubtedly at the origin of their common memberships in a number of integrated processes of solidarity, prevention, and deterrence. In addition to bilateral relations, the talks between the President of the Republic and the heir to the Saudi throne extended to the enlightened leadership that the kingdom now brings to the global process of combating climate change through the adoptions of a program entitled the Saudi Green Initiative and the approvals of a similar program called the Middle East Green Initiative. Djibouti has learned of the video released that 2 days ago by a member of Al-Shabaab. We are therefore hardly surprised to hear these vitriolic attacks, false accusations, and threats against our countries from an organization that represents the most immediate threat to the security and stability of the Somali state and people. Al-Shabaab has regularly demonized and issued direct threats against countries in the region that provided support to Somalia until that country is able to assume full responsibility for its security. Djibouti is and will remain a reliable, supportive, and committed partner to Somalia and international actors in their effort to help stabilize the countries. As the world struggles to recover from the devastating consequence of the COVID-19 epidemic that disrupted the lives and the livelihoods of a million of people, Djibouti will remain focused on building a strong economy, developing its infrastructure, and investing in its human capital. In this regard, Djibouti is proud that despite the global shortage of vaccines, it has embarked on a very serious vaccination effort that will hopefully protect its population from the virus and counters its variants. Djibouti, on the other hand, takes any threat to its soil very seriously and is prepared to deal with it. A high-level meeting of the Horn of Africa Regional Initiative was held today, March 31, 2021, by a video conference. The forum was chaired by the Minister of Economy and Finance, Ilyas Moussa Dawale. The meeting was attended by the Ministers of Finance of the partner countries, the Vice President of the World Bank and the African Development Bank, the Director General of European Commission, the Executive Secretary of IGAD, representative of Sudan, and other experts. The speaker emphasized the excellent coordination work of the chairman with the support of the Horn of Africa Initiative Secretariat based in Djibouti. The ministers unanimously reappointed Djibouti as a chair until the end of 2021. Before the Secretariat rotated to Kenya, the meeting highlighted the challenges faced due to the COVID pandemic, locusts, and instability in the region. They nevertheless welcomed the progress.
Definitely, we make sure that we can really meet in person. And my suggestion here is we must, for the sake of the visibility of the initiative, for the sake of the great partnership between the Horn of Africa state and partners, we must find out a way to organize a head of state summit where that transition from the chairmanship could be made it and organize it in a much visible way.
The ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the state of Kuwait, Mohammed Ali Moumin, signed yesterday, Tuesday, March 30, 2021, with Mr. Abdul Wahab Ahmed Al Badr, Director General of the Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development, a loan agreement in the amount of 13 million US dollars. This loan is intended for the construction project of the future Damerjog power plant. The construction of this power plant will satisfy the needs of the future industrial zones of Damerjog and also will allow a better access to electricity of the population of the capital and its periphery. It is worth mentioning that after our independence, the Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development had proceeded as early as in 1980 to the financing of many development projects in our country, especially in the port and road infrastructures, as well as in the energy development, whose first financing was in 1982. Since then, our cooperation with the state of Kuwait has not ceased to strengthen our fraternal relations, friendship, and respect are at the level of excellence. It is also worth recalling the latest important interventions of the Arab Economic Development Fund in Djibouti in the social file, education, water, housing, within the framework of the national investment programs, as well as the constructions of the Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jabir Al Sabah Road, which links Tira Balho. The Secretary General of the Minister of National Education, Mohammed Abdallah Mahyoub, held this morning at the CFF Umar Gelli Ahmed the launching ceremony of on a CAM research platforms intended for teachers and all the professionals of MENFOP. Many executives and officials of MENFOP, including the Director General of the CFF, Ms. Aisha Farol Tide, the Project Manager, DIGRA, Mr. Alpha Ibrahima Ba, as well as the CFF trainers and teachers took part in this ceremony. This platform is intended to strengthen the skills of researchers and professionals working at CFF and MINFOP. It should help promote and strengthen reading activities. More generally, CFF trainers will be able to explore through these platforms a number of competences that will allow them to improve their research work as well as their studies and productions within the framework of the promotion of reading establishment is part of the partnership project between the MINFOP and USAID implemented by FHI 360. Under the high patronage of the ambassador of custodian of the two holy mosques in Djibouti, Mr. Abdullah Aziz bin Abdullah Al Matar, the Islamic Institute of Djibouti, affiliate to the Imam Muhammad Saud Islamic University of Saudi Arabia, held in the late mornings a ceremony dedicated to the graduations of the 40 class of secondary school students and the first class of students of university department. The ceremony took place in the Great Hall of the People's Palace in the presence of the director of the Islamic Institute, Mr. Majid bin Ibrahim Al-Sheikh, and the director of the Saudi School, Mr. Muhammad bin Alan Al-Harbi, in addition to dozens of faculty members and recent graduates, as well as the director of the Arabic department at the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Muhammad Douale Wadiye, and other guests. During this event, the ambassador of the custodian of the two holy mosques of Djibouti handed out certificates to the different graduates who finished their secondary and university studies. It should be noted that the Islamic Institute of Djibouti, affiliate to the Imam Muhammad bin Saud Islamic University, was established in 1981 at the will of the government of the custodian of the two holy mosques and the Djiboutian government within the framework of cooperation between the two brotherly countries, especially in the field of education. As every year in this period of end of sports season, the establishment Bibi Mudisha, former establishment Fratakshi, have just offered an important batch of cap and trophies to the Djiboutian Federation of Football. These trophies will serve as rewards to teams that have distinguished themselves during this season. The ceremony was attended by the first Vice President of the Djiboutian Federation of Football, Mr. Rufa Mohammed, the Secretary General Yusuf Ahmed, the Head of the Department of Referee, Mr. Muhammad Mumin, and Yaqub Ali Elmi, Head of the Competition Department. As his father did in previous years, today it was his son, Emmanuel Modish, currently General Manager of Fratakshi establishment, who handed the lot of cap and trophies to the Vice President Rufa Mohammed. Speaking on this occasion, Mr. Emmanuel Modish said that their institutions support the efforts of the sports federations in the country, and especially the soccer federation. I am proud, he said, to make our modest contributions to the development of youth and soccer. He also said that his father is Larry Modisha, who for 40 years gave cap, medals, and trophy to the country's federations. I am only perpetuate to the noble missions that my father did for 4 decades, and I am committed to continue these efforts in favor of the federation, said Emmanuel in conclusion. For his part, the Vice President of the Djiboutian Federation of Football, Mr. Rufa Mohammed, said that the Fratakshi establishment are an important partners of the Football Federation. We regret to announce the death of Dabbar Hufani Asowe, born in 1935. The deceased was retired from the Directorate of Public Works General Elders of the PK 51. He leaves behind him a widow and 8 children and 46 grandchildren. The Minister of Interior addresses on behalf of the President of the Republic his sincere condolence to the families and relatives of the deceased. Also, the Minister of Energy, the Minister of Budget send their sincere condolence to the families and relatives of the deceased. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And we regret to announce, to inform you that Ibrahim Bogor Sige passed away yesterday at Sudanese Military Hospital. The deceased, who was born in 1955 in Hull, started his career in the OPS in 1975 until 2014. The former employees of SME2. The deceased Ibrahim Boghor Sige left behind him a wife and 9 children, including our colleagues of RTD, Arafat, and Ayans, as well as 4 small sons, which share the pain of the families of the late Ibrahim Boghor Sige. We offer our sincere condolences to his family and friends and pray to God to welcome the deceased in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, EU renews commitment to Syrians. Money is still needed to help Syrian refugees. The conflict on the ground has entered in its 11th years, and the situation is as critical as ever for those who have fled the fighting. The European Union and the United Nations held a 2-day conference to mobilize donors. More than 50 countries and financial institutions pledged funds to meet humanitarian needs in Syria and neighboring countries. The EU announced 560 million euro in aid. It's also called for free and fair elections. Syrians must decide the future of Syria. The future of Syria does not belong to any factions of any external powers. It is up to the Syrian to design the negotiations under the auspices of the United Nations. The Syrian regime must take a step in this direction, said Joseph Borrell, head of the EU diplomacy. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Let's continue with the presidential election news with Hidayah Mohammed.